pilots filed more reports than any other segment. Now, I don't know how many GA pilots there are compared to airline pilots in the country, but it's an interesting number. I think some people could say it shows that GA pilots are better pilots. I don't know about that, but anyway. But as you can see, air carrier pilots, they know the utilization and the use of NASA. Yes, sir.
That's one of those things you have to put down the percentage of reports to flying time.
Oh yeah,
How
that
many
would be,
reports per flying time?
Yeah.
Because you're flying
1 hour versus
90, 100 a month as an airline pilot. You may fly that in a year as a general aviation.
Good
pilot.
point.
So if you file 2 as an airline pilot, that's way less percentage-wise per hour than what somebody else.
Yeah,
would.
I just can't pass taking a dig at airline captain. But it is interesting, even controllers can file NASA reports because they're subject to a lot of nastiness from their boss. Just a few quick things. Risk management. I always approach flying from a risk management, probably because I did a lot of work with insurance and trying to show convincing stodgy London underwriters that it was safer to fly this Eclipse jet versus the Cessna 421 that you'll write day in and day out. All the reasons that we know why that jets are safer for the reasons that they are. But again, just approach every flight with kind of a risk management. What are my risks today? Weather, how's weather, wind, crosswind, whatever it might be. Who's flying in the airplane with me? All the things that that come into play. And then, as I said, the greatest thing for me always was that if there's any question about a flight, there is no question. And that's the good news, at least from my perspective. Wasn't flying 135, didn't have a boss tell me that I had to get this done. A lot of other things come into play in other areas of aviation. But for most of us in this room, if there's any question at all, then there is no question. I can't tell you how many flights I canceled. It was very disappointing. But many, many times it was a really, really good decision because of weather or whatever it might have been. Again, continue to get ratings, even if you won't use them. Go over to Browns and get a seaplane rating just for the hell of it. You may never fly again, but at least go ahead and do it. Work on that instrument rating. You're going to learn a lot from it. So many of us get instrument ratings. Do we go out and fly hard IFR in our Cessna? No, we don't do that. But we sure are a better pilot for having taken the program. Attend EA forums, AOPA forums, all those that we just had at Sun and Fun. Aviation publications, so many good articles about safety, and just keep flying and flying and flying. Today's insurance market is tough. Boy, oh boy, once we get over 70, that, for many of you in this room, is not even a reality or a worry for a while. But the insurance market gets tougher every single year. And the bad thing is, you may have $1 million policy on your aircraft, but take a look at your per seat limit. And most places, you're going to see that you've got $100,000 per seat. Well, God forbid you have a crash. Who knows what could happen? Somebody gets injured. Worst case, somebody gets killed. That $100,000 is so woefully inadequate that you've really, really got to think, and I hate to say it, but you've really got to think about who you go flying with. Because if that's all you've got is $100,000 for that person sitting next to you, and as you can see, these verdicts and settlements, $500,000, it's just nothing these days. So again, I'm not trying to be the wet blanket, but think very, very carefully. Who you taking flying? Lots of good programs out there. Young Eagles, fortunately, you fly Young Eagles. EA is backing you up as well. But anytime that you're going to go out and fly, always keep a thought on that risk management point of view, because it can go fast. Hull insurance for the aircraft, 2 to 3% was the norm. Those are climbing for a number of reasons. It's the nature of the beast these days, the economy. Remember, if you rent an aircraft, make sure that you have renter's coverage, because if you damage the airplane, the insurance company is going to pay the FBO, but most likely they're going to come after you to recover the money that they did pay to the FBO. That's called subrogation. So again, if you are renting aircraft, be sure to have a renter's policy. The IMCO's got lots of underwriters have them, and that even applies if you borrow a friend's airplane. At least most of the policies do, and if you get one, make sure yours does, that it covers borrowed airplanes as well. And this is why I say, don't take a lawyer or your doc, unfortunately, flying. Let us, we'll take care of ourselves, but, you know, again, consider the mission, consider what's gonna happen. Releases vary from state to state. And it's always a wild card if a court is gonna truly recognize a release. The ones that come along with the EAA Young Eagles program, those have been tried and true throughout the country, and we're pretty comfortable with what we have there. And we've had some accidents, and I remember way back when we first talked about the Young Eagles program, Tom and a few other people came up with the idea, and we talked about, gosh, flying 1 million young people. We thought, we'll never do that, but it's a good thing to try to do. Look at the program today, it's just absolutely amazing. So again, and you as an EAA chapter, you have ability, when you have a special event, there's coverages available for you as well. So again, if you've got something coming up, Dennis is real good on this stuff. So just say, hey Dennis, come on, let's get this together here and see what insurance we need to have in place, all right? Any questions?
Can you go back two slides where I had the subrogation on there? If you don't
Yeah.
mind?
I'll try. I can't see the damn keys, so turn the light on just a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I should have used the remote, right? Let's see if we can get it here.
Okay, on the second bullet point, rental borrow, if you break it, you run. I work for a major flight school, we got 50 aircraft.
Yeah.
I've never seen the insurance policy, so you're saying that even as an instructor, there's a chance that if something was to happen, the insurance company could come after me?
Probably not.
Once they pay the university
No,
for the
because
airplane?
you're an employee of the company, and they will cover that.
Okay.
This is, again, good question for your chief pilot, or whomever you would contact to ask that question. But as an employee, you're in a different status than, let's say, a renter pilot who rents one of the aircraft and then takes it out and bends it.
Okay.
Different worlds.
Gotcha.
Good question.
How about the student?
The students can have a problem. Now, again, when you've got a student out, pre-solo, insurance companies look at this and they think, well, come on, this is, I'm not saying that subrogation, there's a lot of times that insurance companies really could bring a subrogation action, and they don't just for PR purposes. They don't because they know it's not only gonna aggravate whomever they go after, but it's gonna cause some grief for the insured as well. So, but clearly, this is really aimed at the person who you go out and you rent from an FBO. Absolutely, don't even start that airplane unless you've got renter's coverage in place. Who else gets it?
Yeah, the Miranda, the Bill of Rights and all that.
Yeah.
Like you said, of course, you can contact AOPA Legal or EAA Legal. Now, is it a true Miranda where they say, if you cannot afford
No,
an
it's not,
attorney,
no.
one will be appointed for you?
No, because it's not
So
criminal.
you're really kind of screwed, even though it's a Bill of Rights.
Well, it's a lot better it was, because before we weren't, well, I showed you the things. We've got process, federal rules of procedure, federal rules of evidence and the like. But, yeah, it's not you may feel like you're in a criminal proceeding, but it's not a criminal proceeding.
But
It's
it could really cost you, right?
It can, yes, it can. So the key to all of this is, obviously, fly carefully, be diligent. If you do screw up, if you do make a mistake, it's not as, the intentional things are the ones that really end up getting people.
Right.
Yeah, buzzing your buddy's house at 100 feet on the 4th of July, things like that. And that happens a lot, you'd be surprised. And I've had a number of cases where they were buzzing that house, and next thing you know, they spin in. I mean, it does happen. Power
Yeah.
lines. Big flight down. I can't tell you how many cases I've had with pilots who hit power lines when they were going to buzz somebody's house. There's just a lot of stuff that can happen.
Yeah, a famous one around here back like 1980, there was I guess they were out, I don't know, Fellsmere or something like that, and where they're having a cookout. Pilot was drunker than hell. They were all drinking. They had a pipe cup, and he was buzzing the group. He hit a palm tree, and he went in. And I guess it was an older Cub, because he must have been flying from the back. When it went in, the gas tank burst. Front passenger, he burned up.
Mm-hmm.
The pilot, who was drunker than skunk, took off across the field, and he was on fire. They had to chase him down, and he was burned pretty bad, and how I knew about it was a friend of mine had to do he was at the hospital, he had to do the rehabilitation. He says his hand was like that, and he had to do a lot of the, trying to, but he said he was horribly burned. He had to do the sitz baths things over and over and all that, but,
Oh, gosh.
you know, that's the type of thing where,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with the enforcement and all that stuff, but just knew it through this guy, but
Yeah.
what a stupid thing.
Yeah. And again, remember today, we focused upon, frankly, a lot of the negatives of what we love to do. It doesn't come up that often, and there's a lot that you can do to prevent those types of things from happening. But it's kind of a reality check that we need to have occasionally as far as the responsibility and the exposure that we have as aviators. It's definitely out there. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it.